In my personal experience, it can take a lot of courage to do something and pursue it and try really hard and start to do well at it when someone nearby you is trying to do something similar, but they're not necessarily having success and they're not really finding their footing. And it can be really hard to have the courage to say, I deserve this. It's something that I've been working toward. It's something that I've wanted. I deserve for this to be going well. I am working my butt off. It can be really hard when you can see it's almost like a slap in the face to the other person who's trying to do similar things and just struggling. And sometimes it's not even that they're like bitter at you necessarily about it, they're just bitter at life. They're actually like, oh, supportive and care that you're doing well and they want you to succeed, but it's still so hard for them to see you, and it can make you want to diminish yourself or make yourself shine less, especially around them. I have found two ways of dealing with this, and I don't know if either of them are necessarily psychologically sound from a psychology standpoint, but this is what I do. I either A, do try to not really tell people that I'm doing well at things that I'm doing well at. I have found that, especially in my lifetime of bad choices and picking people to be in my life, the majority of people are not very supportive that I have encountered in my life, and quite frankly, the majority of them just sort of expect it to be in vain. There's an automatic, well, why are you even trying to do that? It's you. Why are you setting yourself up for disappointment? And that can feel so defeating, to have people that you care about just automatically assume that you're gonna not get anywhere, to not believe in you or think that you have any potential when you would never think that toward them, is just a really hard thing. So the first thing that I do is literally just basically, quote unquote, lead double lives. And I have more than two, so I'm not trying to be someone with some sort of personality disorder or anything like that. I just can't take my family being disappointed in me. I just can't take my friends constantly feeling like I'm, you know, pretentious or patronizing because I'm doing well and they're doing bad. I can't take making people uncomfortable and making them feel frustrated. So people in my real life, they don't know a lot about stuff that I do to help people. A lot of my volunteer hours and stuff, no one has even known about. A lot of my stuff that I do online, my, you know, for instance, YouTube channel here that I have, no one knows about, because I'm just doing it in an attempt to help people, and I don't need that negative feedback. I am not necessarily trying to become some amazing thing. I just want to do something that makes the world better. There's a lot of people all through my entire life, but even currently in my life, who basically view me as a big disappointment. It makes me more likely to be a disappointment when they act that way. So, thing number one I do, don't tell them. It sucks in some ways because you get excited about something that went well or that was good and you can't share it. You're kind of by yourself. You're your own island, unless maybe there's a couple of people that you can tell who won't tell anyone else. And it's kind of hard to get those people sometimes. I just only tell or talk about certain subjects with certain people. I have to do it that way, or else everything I would do would just feel like I was doing it in vain, and I don't need that. It's definitely not been helpful for me in my life, for sure. So, don't tell them. Even when you get really excited, try to keep it to yourself, because I've had moments where I got so excited, I said something anyway, and every single time, I regret it. Every single time, I'm like, why did I just do that? I recently wrote a research paper and submitted it to be published in one of the best magazines in the country for that subject matter. I got excited. I was really proud. And I told one of my siblings, and they were just kind of like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing that?" But it's you. Like, it's impossible for you to do something of significance. What are you doing? And I have gone back to school at my age, and I've told my family that I was doing that. But whenever I start to talk about what I'm going back to school for, they're just kind of like, "It sounds like something." I don't want to merely be an accountant. I would like to go into financial ethics in specific. And so I have chosen to go back to school. And it won't necessarily like up my income by some sort of massive significant amount, but it will up the impact that I can have on the world. And so I'm doing that. The majority of people who know me, it's amazing to me how many people don't know that I'm in college. I had a friend I was talking to like 2 days ago, and they were like, "Wait, what? You're in college?" I was like, "Yeah, I went back to school." And they're like, "What? What are you doing? Like, what for? That's so crazy." And I don't like being told that's so crazy. So I don't tell. Almost ever. I just don't tell people. Thing number 2 that can really help with that feeling is recognizing how much work you've been putting in and measuring that against how much success you're having to try to make it seem less big. So when I do talk to people, I usually don't focus on my success. I focus on how hard I'm working. When I was talking to the person a couple days ago about being back in college, I started talking about how overwhelmed I was with my schedule and everything because I was doing a lot. And when you focus on the difficulty of doing something important, it makes that something important seem less arrogant. And it can be a little humbling to not fully explain how well you're doing, but at the same time, it's important not to completely break the spirit of the person you're talking to. And it sucks that I don't have more people in my life who I can just be myself around, and if I'm excited about something, just be excited and then not be off-putting or disheartening for them. But I tend to help people and be a caretaker as a person, and that means the people who are drawn to me tend to be people who need a lot of care and patience. So it's sort of like my own nature is also my flaw. My strength is my weakness, however you want to say that. The thing that I do well is the thing that also is my biggest hurdle. I care about people, and I don't want to hurt them. I don't like making them feel uncomfortable. I recognize that my life makes people uncomfortable in that I've gone through some crap that can be considered to be hard, but my life also makes people uncomfortable in that I do well for limiting circumstances that I have to deal with. And sometimes that really throws people off and makes them feel like crap about their own lives. Now, again, these two things that I do, from a psychology standpoint, might not be the most perfect for my individual growth as a person or something. But since my focus is on the care of other people, it's not really my focus to be setting boundaries about my own individuality, which might sound ironic on a channel called Self-Invested Life, but part of investing in yourself, I fully, with every fiber of my being, believe is your interactions with others. Your longevity is determined by your close interpersonal relationship, and having some is extremely important. if you want to lead a long and decently fulfilled life. It can be really frustrating. It can be really daunting to constantly go out in public and hang around with people and risk getting hurt or having people say stuff that you wish they wouldn't, act in ways you wish they wouldn't. People can be outright cruel. But if you hide from that, if you stay indoors all the time and you never go out with people, you never socialize, you're robbing yourself of every opportunity for something good to happen, for something positive to be said, for something encouraging to be directed at you. And the good outweighs the bad, in my personal opinion, and in the opinion of research. The longest running study we've got going right now is pretty much definitively all about how our interpersonal relationships, multi-generationally, are the thing that gives us such growth and longevity as people. It can be really frustrating to have to avoid saying how well you're doing at something and to instead amplify the focus on how hard you're working at that something. It can be really frustrating to have to convince people or to feel defensive, but if it's done to protect the other person, then try to show everyone involved, including yourself, some grace. Because in actuality, we all need patience. No one's perfect. We're all human. And if you get super unmotivated when people are critical or diminishing of you the way that I do, here's what I do about it.